Yo, JD here, and as you can see, we are back on F1 22 once again, and we return to our Hotlap and Setup series. We did temporarily do a Silverstone Hotlap and Setup since we had that this weekend, and I really hope that you enjoyed the Grand Prix. It was definitely a pretty exciting one to watch, in fact, so I really hope you did. But yeah, we're now back to the track calendar order. This time we are at Imola. And I have to say, this track on last game as well, and still continues in this one, I think is one of the hardest tracks for me to hook up. I feel this and Portimao were among one of the most technical, and one lap pace for me has always been quite a struggle around here. And when I was doing this lap, it took me quite a while to do, in fact. I was around like a second off the world record for quite a while. And like with my attempt in the world record series, it's just about making those small jumps and developing that new muscle memory. And once you've broken through that placebo and you've actually gained a tenth or 2 tenths, then your muscle memory knows how to actually do that. And just those tiny steps and being patient with it add up to a massive gain. So I really hope you enjoy this. I was actually pretty happy with this app in the end, considering I would say this is probably one of my weakest and tracks that I struggled the most over a lap. It's definitely this one among another few as well. So yeah, I was actually pretty happy with this in the end. And the setup is not quite the same as the others. It's actually a little bit more on the stable side, which I think will be better in the race. So as usual, here is the lap uninterrupted, and then we will be breaking it down in slow motion itself. And apparently on the different platforms you can actually run a bit more curbs. Around here I was actually using quite a lot of curb, and you will see coming through this section here quite a lot, but just as usual, just making sure you're as smooth as you can. And you know, this track in time trial is going to be driven very differently to what you will be doing online. In time trial, you have to fully commit, not leave any stone unturned, really. You have to completely commit, whereas in the race here, you can't commit like this all the time, otherwise your tyres will overheat, and yeah, you'll be probably quite inconsistent. So yeah, this setup here, I would say, is definitely a lot more stable than the others around me, and I felt it was definitely much better online compared to the setups. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy this. But yeah, overall, I'd say it's a probably 8.5 out of 10 this lap. Definitely one of my better laps I've done so far. And crossing the line, it's going to be a 14.639, which puts me to 4th on the leaderboard out of 32,000. So quite a few people have done this. So to get the top 4, being less than a tenth away from the fastest, I was pretty content with that. But let's break it down. So as we start this up now, going this is turn 1, you really want to be braking once the whole car is basically in line with this curb. So I'm just stopping it just shy of it. Once your rear wheels are going onto the Italian flag curb, pretty much, that's when we're braking and turning in. Coming into this one, want to be about half your car, so just one wheel on here and avoid the yellow sausage curb. So slow in, fast out. Same again for this one, so over the curb but avoiding the sausage curb. This is where you really want to get on the power, so slow in, fast out, use all the track on the exit, and make sure you kiss this one, avoiding these sausage curbs once again. As we finish this corner, use all the track on the exit. Now coming into this one, you want to be turning in before you hit this 50 meter ball, so you want to be turning in just before you hit that. So as we slow it down here, coming into this one, use a lot of curb here. So again, avoiding that yellow sausage curb, get as close as you can to it, but you can almost mount the whole car here. So get as far left as you can, and then nice late apex. And then once you hit this late apex, you actually want to get on the power really aggressively. So if you look at the throttle, we really get on the power, use all the track on the exit. Coming into this one, pretty much just before you hit that 50 meter ball, you want to go quite deep and fast into this corner. Use the camber of the corner to your advantage. So ignore the apex initially. Do quite a late apex. Short shift into 4th gear. And then once the wheel's straight, that's where you want to be going on full power. Going to this one again, slow in, fast out. And this one is kind of once you pass the 50, so once it goes out of view, since you're going so fast, that is when you want to be downshifting to 5th. And then kissing this apex on the inside. And then once you kiss the apex, straight back on that power. Use all the track on the exit. Nice and tight to the left-hand side. And now coming into this one, kind of similar to the hairpin, just before the 50-meter board. That's where you want to be doing most of your turning in. Kiss this inside. So want to be avoiding the sausage curves once again. Use all of the track, and once you're all the way up to the white line, that's when you want to be turning. So you're pretty much turning constantly for this corner. Try and do a late apex, and this one you can kiss the curb, but I like to hit the white line, otherwise it unsettles the car. And then unwind the steering wheel, get on the power, and then as your wheel is straight, that is when you go on full power. Try and avoid being on this curb as long as possible. Now going into this very, very tricky chicane. Coming into this one just before the 50-meter board, so it's quite a common cue around this track. That's when you'll be braking and turning in. Try and go slow in, fast out. Take more curb on this right-hand side. So this one, no, unfortunately, you're allowed to do this in the game, and you need to do this around here. Take all the curb here, and then pretty much the same approach, but not quite as much curb as you did for the right-hander. So slow in, over the curb to right, nice and early for the left. As the wheel is straight, that's when you want to be going on the full power again. So really slow in, fast out approach mentality going through that chicane, because it carries all the speed going down the straight. And then this one, it's kind of around 70 meters out, so between the 50 and 100. So once the wheel is straight, going to this one, you don't want to be mounting this inside. You could take a little bit more curb in that, but just kissing this curb on the inside. Allow the car to run out wide. As the wheel is straight, that is when you want to be turning in pretty much immediately for this last corner. Try and carry as much speed as you can. Kissing this inside again, you want to be avoiding this sausage curb, and use all of the track on the exit. Get up right up to that white line, stay nice and tight to minimize the distance, get the DRS, and that is a 14.639. And you're about to see here, that was the third fastest no assists, and in the top 4, less than a tenth away from the fastest. And yeah, I was pretty happy with that, considering this track and me and this track haven't really got along too well. I was pretty happy. But you can see here, quite similar, I think, to Jeddah. We're running a little bit more front brake than the rear. The others were running a little bit lower, but a bit more of an aggressive suspension. So I preferred a bit more of a pointier car on the initial turn, but then more stable during the corner itself. Seems to be the trend now, a low differential, so 60-55. This one, right, left, which is pretty much bringing you back to the 2020 days. This just gives you the most stability going into the higher speed corners. But I will be doing a setup explanation video this week. 8-1-8-1 again seems to be the common theme of a higher front suspension and anti-roll bar and a lower rear. 3-5 ride height, just to give you a little bit of clearance over those curves and some good traction as well. And then let's move on to the brakes, 150%, and then for the tyres, maximum tyre pressures. And yeah, for me, these setups have been working really well online. A lot of people have asked me, how do you convert it to a race setup? I will be doing a video on this as well, but in a nutshell, it is preference. And if you can drive smoothly, there's no reason why this setup can't work for you well online in league races, as it has for me so far. So I do run quite high tyre pressures. You want to be running it as high as possible, ideally. If you're not getting overheating issues, then you're going to benefit from those high tyre pressures, you know, much better than the lower tyre pressure. So I really hope you've been enjoying this series so far. I have released my coaching as well, got at coachlimitless.com. Thank you everyone for the support. Hope you're enjoying the game, and I'll be catching you very, very soon. Peace.